Hey everyone, you're watching Tamitsale's Tennis Forum, and in this video we are going to be looking at the semi-final preview. We have our lineup, and it is the lineup we probably all wanted. The top four players in the world all facing off against each other. This will be a live video, so I will try and take on a few comments if I can. But yes, straight into it. We had our fourth spot up for grabs today between Novak Djokovic and Alexander Zverev earlier on today, about a couple of hours ago. The winner takes all match, so it was essentially a quarter-final kind of match, let's say. And Novak came through in straight sets, giving us the top four seeds in all the semi-final spots available. So it will be Novak Djokovic versus Dominic Thiem and Rafa Nadal versus Daniil Medvedev. We're going to be looking at their head-to-heads, some stats and facts in this video. But before I do that, I would just like to say that we are trying to get to 3,000 subs before the end of the year. So if you haven't already, then please do drop a sub. We're about 70 away. And if you can drop a thumbs up, I'll set a target of around 50 thumbs up for this video. So yes, going straight into the match earlier on today. So it was Novak versus Sasha for that final spot. And if you look at it from a point of view for the spectators, a lot of us were a little bit confused why that was the earlier match and why the Medvedev match was the later one, because the evening match is where the generally the big names are, and that's when a lot of people have finished work, and just globally it makes a lot of sense to have the bigger matches on in the evening. And I was thinking why this may be the case, and the only explanation I could come up with is that the only way to make sure Rafa and Medvedev played in the evening tomorrow, in the Saturday evening, was to have Novak play in the morning today, because Novak and Zverev could not have played this evening and then played the earlier match on Saturday. And I mean, the tournament organizers, they didn't have that guarantee that Novak would qualify. It could have been a Zverev team final and with no semi-final, and with no disrespect, it just wouldn't get the views as a Rafa Nadal versus Daniil Medvedev. So I think the organizers went with the guarantee. They knew it would be Rafa and Medvedev, guaranteed semi-final, and the views would be there for the Saturday match. So I think that is why the Novak match happened earlier. Sorry, I don't know if the connection just went there, but he will play Dominic Thiem in the semi-final, a player who has been looking very impressive this week. He did lose his last match against Rublev in straight sets. However, he had already confirmed qualification as first place. So it was really a dead rubber match for him. And I'm sure he's going to play at a much higher level on Saturday. They did play last day, if you remember, in the round robin, one of probably the match of the year in terms of best of three sets. It went to a final set tiebreak, which Domi won, and essentially prevented or made Novak lose any sort of hopes or dreams to end the year as number one last year. And then, of course, Novak went on, lost to Roger, and crashed out of the tournament. So, can Novak get his revenge this year? So, Dominic Thiem versus Novak Djokovic. They've played each other 11 times, and Novak leads the head-to-head 7-4. On hard courts, they've played each other 5 times, and Novak leads the head-to-head 4-1. And then if you talk in terms of titles and big titles, look, whenever you have any of the big three comparing them to any other player, really, it's always a very skewed. So Novak has 81 big titles compared to Dominic having 17 big titles. But I think it's the, total titles. Sorry, Novak has 81 total titles, Dominic has 17 total titles. But when it comes to the big titles, that's when the conversion rates are really different. So Novak has 58 of those 81 titles that are considered big titles, so Grand Slams, World Tour Finals, Masters 1000s, whereas Dominic, on the other hand, only has two, which is the Indian Wells Masters 1000 and also the US Open. So in terms of 17 titles, only two big ones. I think that's where his conversion rate needs to start improving. He really needs to start winning bigger titles, because other players like Daniil, Sasha, etc., they've not won as much. They're right now probably not as good of a player as Dominic, but they've won more Masters 1000s. Yes, Dominic has the slam, but I feel like he needs to win a few more big titles. So yeah, that's the head-to-head and a few stats and facts about Novak and Dominic. A few other interesting stats is that Novak, for the year now, he's on 41 wins and 4 losses, and he has the same amount of wins as Andrei Rublev now, both with 41 wins, and that is the most this year. Novak, of course, has lost fewer matches, and he will need to beat Dominic to end the year as player with the most wins. I don't think it's a record he's trying for too much, but that is on the line as well. Dominic has a year-to-date record win-loss of 24 wins and 8 losses. Of course, does include the big win at the US Open. But yeah, that is a very interesting match. I did have a poll on my channel. Posted about a couple of hours ago. Over 60 odd people have replied already, putting their votes in for who they think will be the final matchup. It does seem very evenly spread between Novak and Dominic in terms of who will play in the final. For me personally, I don't think this is a match that I can really predict on. Or it'd be it's one of those ones, could go either way, but definitely a very exciting match, and it will happen tomorrow evening. So it is the afternoon, sorry, it's the earlier match tomorrow with the Rafa Nadal Danu Medvedev showdown happening a bit later on, and that is what we are going to be looking at now. So Rafa Nadal yesterday, if you joined me on my live stream, he of course beat Stefanos Tsitsipas, and he looked very good in the end of the second set. He did get that break. He did lose that break, which was a set point as well. And then early on in the third, it was very scrappy, but he came through that. And Danu Medvedev has been looking very good. So he actually plays Diego Schwartzman in a really deadest of rubber in about an hour. I think Danu will lose that match. I don't think he's going to want to exhaust himself before the big match tomorrow in about 24 hours time. So it really is unfortunate, and especially if there were fans there, I'd want my refund back, because that match really is not going to have any sort of importance. Or I can really see Danu just going out there. He will not want to have a 3-set match. So it's either he wins in straights or he loses in straights, and I think Diego will win, which is good, because I always like Diego as a person and as a player, but it's a bit unfortunate the circumstances he finds himself in. Medvedev, Nadal, can't wait for that match. So we'll look at some stats and facts and some head-to-heads. They've played each other 3 times, and all 3 times Rafa has won. Medvedev has not won a single match against Rafa, and all 3 times were on hard court. So imagine they were on clay. So, and actually all 3 matches happened last year, 2019, during the great summer, let's say, that Medvedev was having, which makes it all the more impressive the way Rafa has found his way to defeat him all the time. So, and then in the US Open final, they faced each other again, which Rafa won in a stunning 5 sets. So he was 2 sets to love up. And at that point, we were all thinking straight sets win for Rafa. Medvedev did win sets 3 and 4. But then in the final set, Rafa turned it on again. And then in the group stage round robin last year of this very same tournament, ATP World Tour Finals, I thought Medvedev would get his first ever win, 5-1 up in the third set, double break. He had match points, and he was really in control in that third set, and he lost it. Let's say he choked him. Really choke from Medvedev, and I felt like that would probably be his most painful defeat. I know he lost in the US Open final, but to lose in that scenario, that circumstance, can't have been great. So I think Medvedev does have something to prove here. Of course, last year he didn't win a single game at the World Tour Finals. This year he's won his opening 2. I don't think he'll make it a full sweep. I do think Diego will beat him, but even if Medvedev wins, it doesn't really change anything. He'll qualify as first place, and he has a point to prove, and has been probably playing his best tennis of the year so far. I mean, Paris, he out of nowhere, let's be honest, he won the Paris Masters 1000, winning his third Masters 1000 after a really poor year. We were all expecting a lot better things from Daniil, and then Rafa. So yeah, he won the Paris, and now he faces Rafa. So let's see if he can make it 4th time lucky and get that first ever win against Rafa Nadal. He played amazing against Novak in his last match. So in terms of titles, once again, like Djokovic and Thiem, it's very skewed. Rafa's won 86 titles compared to 8 from Daniil. And when you look at it from big titles, once again, the big 3 have great conversion rates. Rafa has 56 of those, which are big titles, including Grand Slams, World Tour Final, no World Tour Finals, Masters 1000, and an Olympic gold. Where on the other hand, Daniil has 3, all 3 of which are Masters 1000s, which are Cincinnati from last year, Shanghai from last year, and Paris Masters 1000 from this year. Looking at their year-to-date record, Rafa is 27-6 for the year, so really not played many matches. Medvedev is 25-10, and I think that whole 27-6 is crucial for Rafa's chances this year. And a lot of you guys have picked up on it. It is really probably one of Rafa's best chances to ever win this tournament. He normally comes into this tournament fairly tired. He's had a long season. Rafa, sometimes like a few times has not even played or entered the. He himself has said in his previous interview after his match that it is unfortunate the circumstance why we've all played so few matches this year, but it does put me in like a really good position. I'm physically fresh, mentally fresh. So and look, he's already secured the world number 2 end. He can't get the world number 1 end, so there's really not much pressure other than for him to win his first ever Masters 1000. I'm sure that's what he'll really want to do. So that is the, let's say, the second semi-final, and both semi-finals, it's the best scenario as tennis fans and lovers we could have predicted, really. The top 4 seeds from the 8, all 4 of them qualifying, playing some really good tennis, especially Dominic and Medvedev. Probably they've been the two shining lights, and for me that's quite cool because we would have probably expected Novak and Rafa to qualify as top of their group, but now they've both qualified as second. So it'll be nice to see how Dominic and Medvedev can do in the next round. I still wouldn't be surprised if we had our Novak Djokovic Rafa Nadal dream final, and that would be quite interesting after the beatdown Rafa gave Novak at the French Open final. So it'd be interesting to see, like about a month on, maybe 6 weeks on from that match, how the two fare in a completely different surface. So as you know, I said earlier, I did do a little poll of what's your most predicted, let's say, final from the 4 players. Just refreshing it right now, so bear with me. Right, so we've had 66 votes in the past 2 hours. Feel free to leave your vote in as well. So in 2 hours, 66 votes. And the most likely seems to be a Novak Djokovic Rafa Nadal final. Maybe we're all dreaming, I don't know, but that's a 44% of you guys have picked that as your final. 38% have predicted Dominic Thiem and Rafa as your final. So really not much to pick between the two, and it does seem like not many people are backing Medvedev's chances. So Team Medvedev, that final, only 12%, and Djokovic Medvedev 6% only. So it does seem like a lot of people are favoring Rafa to reach the final of the ATP World Tour Finals. It would be his third final. His previous 2 he has lost on both occasions. So yeah, it seems like a lot of people predicting Rafa, and then Dominic and Novak seem to have a split of the percentage wise, which I think sounds about right. I do think no matter how well Medvedev's been playing, Rafa still goes in as favorite. 3-love head to head on that side. So yeah, we'll see. I am research stage. So Roger actually has 16 semi-final appearances in this tournament. That is mind-boggling. I mean, when I did the preview for this tournament, I mentioned how Rafa has qualified for this tournament 16 times in a row. So that's consecutive. Every year he has qualified for this tournament. It doesn't mean he played every year, but he qualified every single year for this tournament. That is amazing in itself as well. But Roger reaching 16 semi-finals of this tournament, not round robins or whether he played or not, he's reached the semi-16. I thought that was incredible. Novak, with this semi-final appearance, goes to joint 4th on the list, tied with Boris Becker on 9 semi-final appearances. He's converted 5 of them into wins, and then there's third Pete Sampras on 10 and Ivan Lendl on 12. So that's the list. Novak, he's tied 4th now on 9 semi-final appearances. Roger, of course, has the most titles in this tournament with 6 titles, something that Novak will be going for to match that with 6. He's already got the year-end number 1. So I am so excited. I think it's very difficult to predict anything at this point, who's going to win it. I think all 4 players have a good shout to win it, and I personally wouldn't be surprised if all 4 or if any one of those 4 went on to win it. For me, look, I always want the Novak Rafa final, so that is what I want. But once again, I will not be upset with any final. And I mean, last year I had tickets to the final, and I got to watch Tsitsipas versus Dominic Thiem. Probably not the 2 players at the beginning of the tournament I would have wanted. However, they really did put on a show, and the Greek presence in the crowd was really quite something. They were very vociferous. And yeah, it turned out to be a great match. So I'm sure any sort of combination of these finals will be a great match. And I hope you enjoyed this little preview for the final I hope you're excited as I am. I am going to wrap it up here, so it is a short video. However, I will be live streaming both semi-finals. Come along and join me on the watch along. In my previous watch along, we broke the record here. We had over 100 people at any one point watching along with me, so that was a really nice moment and a really nice milestone as well. Over 100 people at any given point, and over 3,000 joined in as the live stream went. So please do join me tomorrow for both semi-finals and of course the final on Sunday. If you're new here, please do drop a subscribe, and before you leave, try leave a comment and a thumbs up. It really does help promote the channel, as we are trying to get to 3,000 subs before the end of the year. That would be really great. So yeah, if you enjoy the content, semi-final tomorrow afternoon, followed by Rafa versus Daniil. See you very soon. Thank you very much.